Arthur stands outside a locked bathroom, helpless, while his son Walter cries from the other side. Walter cannot see or hear anything. He is trapped in complete darkness and silence, calling for his parents without knowing they are standing right there. Then Mr. Stewart gives Arthur the cruelest choice of his life. He can keep the $1 million and let Walter stay like this forever, or sacrifice Norma, and their son will get his life back. Arthur looks at his wife, broken. Norma understands. One day earlier, she pressed a button for money and allowed a stranger to suffer. Now that same choice has come back to their home. But to understand how this family reached such a horrifying moment, we have to go back to where it all began. In July 1976, a classified memo reaches the NSA's deputy director, sounding less like a government report and more like the beginning of a nightmare. NASA's Mars project has somehow brought Arlington Stewart back to life. His body was badly burned, but after being moved to a hidden location, he builds a mysterious device and starts delivering it to ordinary homes. 5 months later, in Virginia, Norma and Arthur are sleeping when their doorbell rings before sunrise. Norma opens the door, but nobody is there. She only sees a black car disappearing down the street. On the porch sits a package. During breakfast, Walter helps them open it. Inside is a wooden box with a button locked under a small cover, plus a note saying Mr. Stewart will visit at 5 in the evening. Norma goes to the private school where she teaches, the same school Walter attends. During class, Charles notices her limp and rudely asks about her foot. Norma finally removes her boot and sock, showing everyone her damaged foot. It hurts her, physically and emotionally. After class, the principal says the school is canceling Walter's tuition discount. Norma and Arthur are already barely keeping up, and now their son's education may become impossible to afford. As the principal apologizes, his nose suddenly starts bleeding and something feels deeply wrong. Meanwhile, Arthur is at NASA, where everyone is focused on the Viking mission and Mars. Arthur helped design the spacecraft's camera system, so this mission means everything to him. But reporters keep asking why the NSA is involved, and no one gives a real answer. At his workstation, Arthur secretly builds a prosthetic for Norma's foot because a doctor failed to treat her properly after an accident. Then he receives the letter he has been waiting for. He applied to become an astronaut, but NASA rejected him because he supposedly failed the psychological evaluation. Arthur is angry because he believes he passed everything. It feels like someone closed his dream without giving the real reason. Then Mr. Stewart arrives. Norma opens the door and freezes. Half of his face is badly burned, and his voice is calm, polite, and terrifyingly controlled. He gives Norma a key and explains the box. If she presses the button, someone somewhere in the world, a person they do not know, will die. In return, Norma and Arthur will receive $1 million in cash, tax-free. To prove he is serious, Stewart gives her a $100 bill just for listening. Norma asks who sent him, but he says he cannot reveal that. She can only discuss the offer with Arthur. They have 24 hours. At 5 o'clock the next day, Stewart will return. If they refuse, he will take the box away. If they press it, the box will be reset and delivered to another family. Then he leaves, as if he offered a normal business deal instead of a choice that could destroy their souls. When Arthur gets home, Norma tells him everything. They laugh it off because it sounds impossible. Arthur inspects the box and finds nothing inside. No wires, no machine, no hidden mechanism. Instead of making them feel better, the empty box makes everything stranger. How would anyone know if the button was pressed? They lock it away and try to ignore it. That night, they go to the theater while Walter stays with Dana. But even during the show, their minds return to the same thought. $1 million. Norma could get help for her foot. Walter's school problem would disappear. Their debts would be gone. Arthur's lost dream would hurt less, but the price is a stranger's life. And somewhere nearby, someone is watching them. The next day, Arthur confirms the $100 bill is real. At NASA, Arthur's coworker Jeffrey receives a panicked call from his wife about their daughter, and fear takes over his face. At the same time, a mysterious observer watches him. Back at home, the deadline gets closer. Norma stares at the box, trapped between fear and desperation. Part of her believes it has to be fake. Another part knows that even a tiny chance makes pressing it unforgivable, but pressure has a way of making people lie to themselves. Finally, Norma breaks. She presses the button. Nothing happens in the room. No sound, no flash, no sign from the box. But somewhere else, the cost is paid. Police arrive after neighbors report shouting and a gunshot. Inside, they find Jeffrey's wife dead, while his daughter is locked in the bathroom, terrified but alive. Jeffrey has vanished, and witnesses say he ran away with a briefcase and a gun. Now, the button no longer feels like a trick. A short time later, Stewart returns with $1 million in cash. He calmly tells them that someone they did not know has died. Arthur tries to give the money back, but Stewart refuses. The choice has already been made. The box will now go to another couple. Stewart reminds them to keep quiet, but Arthur is not ready to let it go. He notices Stewart's license plate and writes it down. At the police station, Norma's father, Dick, is working on Jeffrey's case. The crime becomes worse when Jeffrey's connection to NASA appears. It no longer feels random. It feels like the edge of a bigger trap. That night, Arthur gives Norma the prosthetic foot. It fits perfectly, and for the first time in a long while, she can walk without pain or limping. But the money behind that comfort makes it feel poisoned. Later, they attend the rehearsal dinner for Norma's sister's wedding. Everyone is celebrating, but Norma and Arthur cannot relax. The guilt sits between them like a shadow. Charles, the same student who embarrassed Norma, is working at the event. He keeps looking at them and flashing a peace sign, almost like he knows something. During a gift raffle, Arthur wins a plain brown box, painfully similar to Stewart's box. Inside, they find an old photograph of Stewart from before his face was burned. Arthur secretly gives Stewart's license plate number to Charles, hoping he can use police connections to identify him. But soon after, Norma receives a call from Stewart. He knows Arthur has been asking questions, and his warning is clear. There will be consequences for breaking the rules. Norma panics and rushes out, only to find Arthur confronting Charles for humiliating her earlier. Charles apologizes strangely, saying he did not want misfortune to fall on them. Then his nose begins to bleed. Norma pulls Arthur away, and they hurry back to their car. But when they reach it, they find a message written across the window: "No exit." And as they stare at those words, Charles flashes the same peace sign again. Now Norma and Arthur understand something terrifying. The button was not the end of the deal. It was only the beginning. Back home, Walter is awake with Dana, proudly showing her Arthur's Mars articles. To him, space feels magical, but Dana's face says she knows more than she should. Outside, shadows move, and she pretends not to notice. When Norma and Arthur return, Walter is asleep, and Arthur offers to drive Dana back. On the way, Dana speaks about Mars, civilizations watching Earth, and humanity being tested. Arthur grows uncomfortable when she hints that she knows about the button. Then she tells him one thing clearly: he needs to look into the light. Before Arthur can get answers, Dana passes out, her nose bleeding like the others. Arthur checks her bag and finds an ID card. Her name is Sarah Matthews. When she wakes, terrified, she warns Arthur it is not safe there. Before leaving, she gives one clue: study the party photograph and the circle in his basement records. Then Sarah walks into the motel and the whole place turns unreal. Every guest steps out and silently watches her. Inside Sarah's room, Arthur finds maps, notes, and pictures of the Lewis family. She was never just a babysitter. She was assigned to watch them. The motel guests gather around the swimming pool and stare into it as if it is a doorway. Arthur rushes home and tells Norma everything: Dana's fake name, the motel, the watchers. Norma realizes this is what Stewart meant by employees. Anyone with those nosebleeds may be connected to him. Arthur checks the rehearsal dinner photograph again. Stewart's face bothers him. In the basement, on an old Viking Mars poster, he finds him: Arlington Stewart. Before becoming this burned, impossible man, Stewart worked with NASA. The next day, Stewart calls Norma. Arthur has been digging too much, and there will be consequences. Norma demands to meet him, but Stewart says something chilling. He is already outside. Norma sees a man in her yard, staring with his mouth open, silent and unaware. She understands. Stewart can see through these people. His employees are being used by him. Meanwhile, behind NASA's wind tunnels, the NSA runs its own operation. An official pressures NASA for a hangar and the lunar lander. Cahill cannot refuse. The government knows and lets the test continue. Arthur visits Norma's father, Dick, and asks about Stewart's license plate. The car belongs to the NSA. Arthur sees photos from Jeffrey's house and realizes Jeffrey's wife died when Norma pressed the button. At the crime scene, he finds another Stewart photo and a human resource exploitation manual, like a file about controlling people. When Dick is not looking, Arthur takes the photograph. Meanwhile, while Norma shops with her mother, a woman reveals that the NSA is allowing Stewart to do this. NASA cannot stop him. Every chosen couple is under 40, married, and has one child. The woman gives Norma a number and tells her to follow it at the Richmond Library, warning her not to trust anyone, not even Arthur. The second she says too much, her nose bleeds and she collapses. Norma and Arthur reach the library following separate clues. The numbers lead Norma to NASA footage of the hangar, lightning strike, and Stewart before the accident, still a normal NASA worker. Then two women lead Norma to Stewart. He is waiting. This time, Stewart speaks openly. After the lightning strike, he began communicating with the beings behind the test. Not simple aliens, but something higher, watching humanity. Then he asks what Norma felt when she first saw his damaged face. He expects pity, but Norma says it was love. Not romantic love, but human love. She understood damaged bodies, shame, pain, and strangers' looks. She could hide her injury, while Stewart wore his pain forever. After seeing him, she never wanted to feel sorry for herself again. For the first time, Stewart looks shaken. He reaches out his hand, and when Norma takes it, she falls into a trance. In another part of the library, Arthur finds articles about lightning and Stewart's accident. But when he tries to leave, people stand one by one and block his path. Then Stewart's wife, Clymene, appears. She says the library is for employees only, and everyone here is being tested. In a hidden room, 3 gateways wait. 1 salvation, 2 ruin. Then her hand begins to bleed, and 3 columns of water rise like living doors. Arthur remembers Charles's peace sign, 2 fingers, gate number 2. He chooses the second gateway. White light swallows him. A moment later, Arthur appears above his own bed, suspended inside water. Norma lies unconscious, and Arthur crashes down beside her as Walter runs in. Walter says Norma came home earlier like a sleepwalker and went straight to bed. Neither Arthur nor Norma can deny it anymore. Stewart is not using tricks. He is using something far beyond human science. Elsewhere, Cahill learns the truth. 5 months ago, Stewart was struck by lightning and died. His body was put in a morgue freezer. Hours later, a nurse heard him laughing. Then he was moved to a military hospital. His body healed impossibly fast. His cells stopped breaking down. He became something else, not fully dead, human, or controlled. But Stewart hears this conversation too. Later, when asked why the test uses a box, Stewart says homes, cars, televisions, and even bodies are boxes. And when the body dies, it is placed inside one final box. The button is still not about money. It is a moral test. If people refuse, they prove humanity can value a stranger's life over desire. If they press it, mankind may not deserve to survive. Stewart's employers are deciding humanity's fate, and the next round is already being prepared. Employees like Sarah are guided into a bright white light, ready for another test. Later that night, the Lewis family attends Norma's sister's wedding. Everyone pretends life is beautiful, but Arthur and Norma are no longer living in the same world. Arthur describes the light he saw. It felt peaceful, like being held between life and death. No fear, just silence and comfort. But outside, the trap tightens. Arthur feels sick and steps away. Jeffrey appears with a weapon, forces him into a truck, and says Arthur may still save his family. At the same time, Norma realizes Arthur is missing. She and Walter try to follow, but men take them. Inside the truck, Jeffrey shows Arthur classified documents. People with frontal lobe bleeding cannot be fully controlled as employees. That is Stewart's weakness. He can control minds and agencies, but not perfectly. Then Jeffrey tells Arthur the worst part. Walter has been taken to the motel, just like Jeffrey's daughter. He is being lowered into the pool, another gateway. Jeffrey was forced to choose too. To save his daughter, he sacrificed his wife. Stewart made him choose between the person he loved and the child he had to protect. Before Arthur can process this, a man dressed like Santa blocks the road. Another vehicle slams into them. Santa is one of Stewart's employees. When police arrive, they only find Jeffrey's body. Arthur is gone. He suddenly walks out of a NASA hangar where Cahill warns him that whatever he does next will matter more than he can understand. Then Arthur and Norma are brought back home. Stewart is waiting, and now comes the final test. Walter is locked inside the bathroom. Stewart explains that the boy has been made blind and deaf. He is alive, but trapped in darkness and silence. Norma and Arthur are given 2 choices. They can keep the $1 million and leave Walter like this forever, or Arthur can take Norma's life. If he does, Walter's senses will return, and the money will be placed in an account for him when he turns 18. Arthur points the weapon at Stewart, but Stewart says that solves nothing. Arthur will be arrested. Nobody will believe him. And someone else will replace Stewart. They run to the bathroom door, but it is locked. Walter cries on the other side, unable to hear or see them. They cannot break it down without hurting him. Now the meaning of the test becomes cruelly clear. When Norma pressed the button, she allowed an unknown innocent person to suffer for their comfort. Now the same choice has returned home. This time the innocent person is their son. Norma cannot bear it. She tells Arthur that Walter should not pay for what they did. She asks him to choose their son. Arthur is destroyed, but Norma has accepted her fate. They hold each other one last time. There is no clean way out, only a debt to pay. At that exact moment, another couple receives the same box. They hear the same offer, and just like Norma did, they press the button. Arthur fires. Norma is gone. The bathroom door opens and Walter's sight and hearing return. He calls for his father, confused and scared, but police arrive before Arthur can comfort him. Arthur is taken into one of the NSA's black cars. Cahill tells him not to worry, he will take care of Walter. Through the window, Arthur sees his son looking back, fully able to see again. Meanwhile, Stewart visits the new couple, takes back the box and prepares it for the next family. The test is not finished. It is only moved to another door.